Oh, hi, and we're live. Welcome to the video, everybody. My name is Dante Starshine. You can join in the Zoom room as we are doing a live video, and you can ask the Pleiadian Council questions here and join in the community. The link is the first thing that you'll see in the YouTube chat box. Wow, what a beautiful day it is. I'm happy to be here with you all. I channel the Pleiadian Council. They are an extraterrestrial interdimensional consciousness that is supporting our planet in this ascension process. When they come through, they are transmitting a message, and they're also transmitting an energy, a vibration that you might be able to feel. This energy is supporting us in raising our own consciousness and coming into a higher vibration. Uh, I describe this a lot in some other videos, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. If you're new to the channel, check out all of the videos I have and check out my website, dantestarshine.com. I offer private channeling sessions and a channeling course for you to learn how to channel and tap into your own guides. This is something that everyone can do to some extent, and I would be happy to support you in learning how to connect with your own guides, because knowing that they're there and establishing that connection can really help us in feeling this unconditional love and transcendent energy, regardless of the drama that's happening in our lives. And boy, these days, planet Earth is a dramatic place, I'll tell you. I'm sure you've heard and are experiencing it, but we're here to bring some lightness, some love, to get a higher perspective so that we can really soon change this planet for the better. And yeah, anyway, I think I will stop talking because I don't really feel like I have that much to say that hasn't been said before. Oh, the channeled book is finished. The Pleiadian Council has offered us a book that went through a rigorous 7-month editing process. I am just waiting on the cover, which I'm going to type into the artist right now and see, while I'm thinking of it, be like, he said he would get that to me yesterday. I just want that to be out there. But there was one glass glitch in the cover that was pretty much my fault. But anyway, it's totally ready beyond that. And it should be available for you on Amazon in a month or so. Fingers crossed that all goes well. So as that starts to flow and really get out there, there will be a lot more going on this channel and a lot more being offered about the book. So hope you can check it out. And also these sessions are free offerings. And if you want to donate to support me, it is a tremendous help in allowing me to continue to offer this freely for everybody. So check out dantestarshine.com, go to the contact link. My email is there. That is an email that you can send a PayPal donation to. And I really appreciate it. It is a huge support for me and a huge support for this channel and the channeling community in general. Okay, let's get started now. Hello, and we say good day to you at this moment of your time. As the Pleiadian Council, we speak on behalf of the Galactic Alliance and also some of your own guides and guardians supporting your planet through this process you term ascension. It is a pleasure and honor to establish contact with you in this way, and we thank you for allowing these transmissions to take place, for it opens up a bridge between our respective realities that allows for you and ourselves to grow together and connect deeper with Source and all that is. So today we will open with a brief message about routines, habits that you do every day, or a daily practice, rather. This is a sort of permission slip that supports you in maintaining the frequency that you would prefer throughout your entire day. And these are very important experiences for many of you, especially for those of you who struggle with consistently maintaining that frequency of passion throughout your day and find that your negative beliefs or other behaviors interrupt the flow of that energy. When you start your day with something that truly fills you with passion and helps your physical body and your mind to get a better grip on what your tasks are for the day, you will find that everything flows with much greater ease. Now, there are so many different practices out there that people do to start their day. It can be meditation, can be breath work, can be yoga, or a combination of these things. It can be another bodywork practice like qigong. If you're not into that, it can be a ritual in which you meditate with permission slips that call to you, such as crystals, candles, or something of this nature. It can be a moment where you take a walk in nature. It can be a moment that you sit down and reflect the journal. You can, yes, change it up, but there is a power in getting really focused on, out of all of the activities that you can start your day with, which one truly lights you up. And yes, of course, we will add the caveat that for some of you, you have to get up and immediately go to work or something of this nature. But you can do a daily ritual at another time. For example, once you get off work and have a little rest, then you do your daily ritual. Or perhaps your schedule fluctuates and changes, but you find a time that you incorporate this every single day. Again, everyone will have something different that they choose. So you don't want to get lost in any idea that some of these actions or permission slips are better than others. It's about what is right for you when it is right for you. And you can make the best choice as to which one to begin with based on how passionate you feel about it. Ideally, these activities or permission slips are things that you feel so excited about that you're ready to get right out of bed and move into your day. Ideally, they are something that you're so excited about that you're eager to put down the phone or whatever distractions keep you up at night and get right to bed early so that you can wake up and do what you're passionate about. When you live your life in this way, you will find that passion can occupy most of your experience. When you're so focused on one practice and you know that it fills you with energy that carries you through the day, you can get really clear on what works for you and what doesn't. Not only that, but this practice is something that helps your mind develop good disciplines. As it so happens, as you follow the formula, again, you act on your passion to the best you can without insisting on outcomes, and that leads you to discover negative beliefs that impact your behaviors and preferences in ways that distort your truest passion. You get to clear out those negative beliefs so that you can fine-tune your understanding of what you're passionate about, and you can fine-tune the ways you do it to the best of your ability, and you can make sure you release the insistences. But yes, sometimes many of you find that there are repeating patterns of negative beliefs. And yes, as you feel them and process them and prove them to be false, you are able to shed those negative beliefs from your experience. Yet, you will notice that negative beliefs have layers. So you may clear out a variety of negative beliefs in the department of self-worth, for example, but still there are other beliefs in that department of self-worth that have yet to be discovered. And it is a continual process of, again, doing that same method of proving to yourself through your ability to use discernment and look to many different possibilities to prove that negative belief is false and rewrite the belief with a new program. Now, if you start your day with something positive and build that positive momentum from the start, when you encounter the negative belief that interrupts your momentum, you will have greater energy and greater resilience to be able to interrupt that pattern. And you will note that these negative beliefs are very much cyclical in their own right. They repeat themselves again and again. They attempt to grab your attention again and again at very particular moments. So if you actually want to defeat these negative beliefs, you have to have that same sort of repetition. You can't do something that's exciting for you once and expect things to change. You have to be able to do that again and again and again on a daily basis with focus. And this will help you to be truly enthused for life and be able to overcome those patterns with greater ease. Some people attempt to overcome their own negativity with this energy of discipline without passion. And what we're suggesting is discipline with passion, making sure you do things that you are truly passionate about. You will see many people in your world who are very encumbered by their negative beliefs, and they continuously do the same things because they cannot conceive of another way. They do things they're not passionate about, or they even choose spiritual practices and permission slips that they're not fully passionate about because they have given their power over to somebody else and chosen to accept the belief systems offered by that other that tells them this path or this practice is the only way and you must do it. But we're offering you something very different and reminding you that it has to make sense for you. It has to fit in the framework of your own preferences and your own sense of who you are. And you know that by how something energizes your heart center. So with all of these messages and teachings, you truly get it when you bring your focus back into your heart and you live from this place. In every moment is what you're doing, thinking, and saying, creating an energy flow that expands your heart or contracts it. Move in the direction always of those things that expand your heart. And remember that the more time you spend in that expanded state, the easier it will be to return to it. And thus, starting your day with something that brings you instantly to that expanded state will set you up at that level so that for the rest of the day, you can note, something is derailing me and causing me to contract my heart. But what will it take for me to remember my passion and allow my heart to expand once again? We thank you for allowing us to open with this message, and we hope that all of you may integrate it in your lives in the ways that serve you the very most. And now we would like to support you with any of the questions and sharings that you have with, yes, the first question coming from our friend Mahalo.
Hello, that's very kind of you. Nice to see you. I'm in the darkness here in Phnom Penh as my son is asleep in the hotel room, so I'm out on the balcony. And it's lovely to feel your presence. All right. I wanted to, first of all, yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me? You don't hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
He is not there. He did request to go first because of his time zone complications, but if he is not answering, we can move on to another question.
Pleiadian Council, can you hear this? Mike?
Yeah, I'm still here, but I don't know if Dante's got any sound.
Somebody talking and I can't hear. Is that what's happening?
Yes,
there's
yes,
a chance.
We're all talking. Yes.
Because it feels like somebody should be talking right now, but I can't hear.
We're all talking. Yes. Can you hear us?
I don't know
there
why
could be
I
an
can't
issue.
hear. Can somebody please write a message to confirm that there's talking that I cannot hear?
Yeah.
Wait, so Mike, you can hear me? I can hear you.
I can hear Josh.
But Dante can't hear us.
Okay. I can't hear anybody. If I turn on the Bluetooth speaker again, will it work?
Can you guys start
Hello?
talking now?
Can you hear us now?
I see you talking, but I can't hear.
Can you hear
Yeah.
this?
Okay, Josh, I'm gonna make you the host, and you're gonna remain the host for a minute. I'm going to leave, and I'm gonna come back in. I
Okay.
think that's
Can
gonna
you hear
make it
this?
work. Hey, can you guys talk now?
All
Here we
right. Can you
are.
hear us?
Yeah.
You got sound?
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm gonna put the headphones in so there's no feedback and it goes directly into my brain.
Awesome.
We're all here.
Yeah, I want you guys inside my brain. Much better.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
I'm
Hello. Welcome.
wondering, welcome. Thank you very much for reminding us about the spiritual practice and our enthusiasm. Thank you. Can I ask you to check my aura at this time?
All right. We do prefer not to do these types of questions in the live streams and save them for private channeling sessions, but for you this
Okay.
time, we will do it.
Thank you.
And something around the back of your second chakra at this time and around the back of your neck is a little bit stifled. Are you feeling fully supported?
No, not quite. No.
All right. Why?
Gosh, well, that's a big question. I mean, as you know, I'm back in Asia, and I'm finding I'm sort of coming off the rails a little bit. Things aren't smooth. Things are really, really smooth, and then they're not so smooth anymore.
All right. What is causing the roughness?
Well, I'm not sure.
All right.
I'm not sure. I'm in a different environment, a different situation. I'm not entirely clear. I mean, there's multiple ideas come to my mind. I keep looking, is it this? Is it that? Is it that? But I'm hopping about. If you see what I mean? I'm hopping about without getting any definitive clarity.
Yes. Well, at the base, it all comes back to living in alignment with your passion. Are you living in alignment with your passion at this time?
Well, yes, I have different passions, and I'm very much in line with the passion to be with my family right now.
Yes.
And the music is just coming. I mean, I'm being asked to play music, and that's great, and I'm having a good time with that. I mean, there's other aspects of my passion where I'm feeling what I have to juggle and prioritize. I feel that with the different passions that I've got, I have to choose and say, okay, well, now it's this one, and now it's that one. I have to juggle a bit more. They're not all flowing together as they were. I'm finding that it's more like I have to select, okay, this time it's this passion.
Yes. And that's why it's also important to focus on your highest passion. Not just to make sure you fit everything in, but recognize that some passions are higher than others in the moment, and that is what's indicating for you to focus on it at that time.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Though as it comes to this feeling of support, are you reaching out to others who help you feel centered where you're at?
What I feel is that in my surroundings, I don't have people on the same wavelength. That's one thing, is that there are people at various levels, and there's some at good levels, but there's nobody anywhere near like where it was in Mexico. Nobody any near that level there, where people seem very much at a very high level all around me.
Yes. So you may want to seek out other people who can hold that vibration, that are not necessarily with you in the physical space, but can connect with you online. Simple messages and reminders can be soothing for you in reminding you that you're not alone, because this feeling of roughness and the lack of support comes from recognizing that no one else is especially tuned to the frequencies that you're attuned to where you're at.
Yes. Can I ask, I mean, I do want to get back to Mexico at some time around Christmas. Is travel going to be advisable and possible?
Yes.
You did mention something about collapse of currencies, but travel will still be okay?
You can still get where you're going.
Okay.
There might be economic problems, yes, that is a reality. We hope we didn't frighten anybody last week, because we do wish to remind you, and we want to emphasize the part of our message that we shared, that abundance is going to be an increasing vibration despite the seeming lack of economic resources that some may experience. What this is bringing you to is to learn how to experience greater abundance. And again, abundance is only the ability to do what you need to do.
Can I ask you something about the highest passion?
Yes.
Is that I'm assuming that music is kind of my highest passion, although there's other things. I want to write books. I mean, am I off the mark there? Because it seems to be happening and seems to be good. Is this my highest passion, or am I missing something?
There are many other aspects that you would consider a highest passion, though music is one of the components that is very important. And you can trust this on an inner level simply through the way that playing music makes you feel. You've recognized and said to us before that there are certain high frequency states that you experience in certain moments. For example, through channeling and through the music. That frequency you feel inside is an indication that, yes, this is my highest passion, and this is something that I can continue to do to support my elevation to this state, and also recognize that when you vibrate at that state, you're supporting the collective and learning how to anchor that frequency as well.
Thank you, that's perfect. And as I've said many times, as you are speaking, I feel something, and that is a double message, the words and the feeling that come through. And thank you very much.
Oh, well, thanks to you as well.
Ciao, ciao. Bye.
And we also remind you that we feel something too. When we are allowed to connect with all of you, it supports us in affirming more of that loving vibration. Of course, we know this at our core level, but when we connect with others, there's a mirror effect that takes place that reinforces that energy for ourselves. And of course, we don't necessarily need you specifically on Earth for this. We connect with many other planets as well. Though we say this to emphasize the understanding that it is always a two-way street. So when there is frequency reinforcement taking place, it supports all involved.
That's fantastic. I didn't know that. Thank you so much.
Yes, and our thanks to you as well.
Hello, Pleiadian.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I don't understand why I am always often tired since many years. I am very often tired, and I cannot resolve this.
Well, have you played with this understanding that passion gives you energy, and when you act on your highest passion, you'll have the energy to do what you need to do?
I am conflicted about this, but I am trying to quiet myself to follow my highest excitement.
Well, you quiet yourself to know what your highest excitement is, but then you act on your highest excitement. So if you want to have energy, you have to take action. You could lay in bed all day long and you will remain tired. And many of you will have memories of these sorts of experiences. You wake up feeling tired, and then you say you want to rest more, and then you rest more, but you don't get any better. You stay in bed for hours and hours until you decide to get up, and then all of a sudden, once you start doing things, you have the energy. And life is like this in many ways as well. So if you keep saying you're too tired to actually take actions, you will remain tired. But if you start acting on the things that truly fill you with passion, then you'll have the energy to do what you need to do.
Okay, so that means there is a higher self lowering our energy when we are not in following our excitement.
Well, when you are not following your excitement, your energy is naturally lower. Your frequency is lower. Yes.
Okay, so it's due to the own mechanism. It's not someone pushing
No, no
energy.
one and nothing is really working against you but yourself.
Okay. Okay, so when my mind wants something and my heart wants something else, I cannot push. I cannot.
Well,
I
your mind and
can.
your heart are not really separate. So if your heart wants something, your mind wants it too. But also your mind has a negative belief that prevents you from really owning what your heart's desire is.
Okay, so until we heal the fear, we will not take action because the
Yes.
fear. Okay.
Well,
So
that's not
yes.
necessarily true, because many of you get into a healing trap in which you attempt to continually fix or get rid of your fear, your anger, your sadness, or your hatred, or some other negative frequency, and assume that that frequency has to be gone and you have to experience pure love before you can take the actions that really matter to you. But actually, the opposite is true. It is that once you take action despite the negativity you feel, you will go into a more loving vibration.
Okay, I
So the
understand.
action is always the first step. And this is a place that you keep getting a little bit confused about. You think that you have to do something with your energy before you take action, but actually the action will be what fixes, if you like that term, your energy.
Yes. Yes, I am afraid to take action. I am afraid because I think I have the belief system. I have the belief of if I put myself in different situation, maybe I will go out of my secure zone. I will put myself, it's. I think it's a belief, and until I will be fed up
Well,
this situation. Yes.
you have to reframe it, because it's partially true that once you take action, you won't be in what is familiar for you. So here is where we want all of you to rearrange your language about the comfort zone, because oftentimes what you call a comfort zone, or in your words this time a secure zone, is not comfortable and is not secure. It is just a zone of familiarity. It's just what you know and what is normal for you. But for so many of you, what is familiar is negativity, is fear, is restriction, is the ways that you hold yourself back. So in order to actually move into a true comfort and secure zone, you have to face all of the emotions and beliefs that make you uncomfortable and insecure. By bringing your presence into them and acting with love, despite those beliefs and those feelings, you will change those beliefs and those feelings. But if you sit at home meditating on your cushion, trying to get the beliefs out of you without taking action, you will not actually make the biggest transformation. And this is why we started this transmission with sharing the importance of your daily habits and routines and spiritual practices, because they are about taking action, and life is about taking action. So you need to take action to actually experience the change.
Okay, but last time you said the only way to protect ourselves from difficult situation is to feel we are not in alignment and we are going down a wrong road and putting ourselves in danger. So now when I heard that, I say, but I never hear my feeling. I never know when I am going in a right road or a wrong road, so I will never be secure because I don't sense the alert and I don't really...
Well, you have to, in a sense, get rid of this concept of taking the wrong pathway for now, because even pathways that lead to outcomes you don't prefer are going to teach you important lessons. And you need the lessons in order to learn, and you need the lessons in order to actually understand what your feelings are guiding you to. Every time you take a wrong path or make a mistake, that's helping you learn more about your emotional guidance system. And as you come to trust that emotional guidance system more through experience, you will be able to make the right decisions. But you're never going to get better at making good decisions until a lot of practice making bad decisions. So accept whatever is happening. And that's why we say to you again and again, let go of all of your insistence on particular outcomes, because whatever happens is going to serve you in some way. And until you can accept that and walk courageously forward, you're going to remain exactly where you're at.
But what if my guides are not quite experimented and then did not alert me, and I end up dying because
then you get to learn lessons in this incarnation and make different choices next incarnation.
Okay, that is the trick.
That is the ultimate non-attachment, is to be unafraid even of death. This is the work of yogis. This is the work of shaman. This is the spiritual endeavor, to be so connected with your soul essence and with spirit that death does not actually matter. And if death does not actually matter, neither do any of your other fears.
Okay. I think I will. I don't know if I am ready to.
Well, obviously, some of the first choices you're going to make are not actually going to put your life at risk. They will put you at risk in some other ways, and sometimes you'll get hurt. But you will then be able to make better decisions, and then you'll be able to make the choices that lead you to what you actually want. The other option is to stay where you're at and feel uncomfortable and afraid forever. So you choose. And we do mean it when we say there are worse fates than death.
Okay, last question about the same theme. You said economic we will have some crisis. I would like to know in the probabilities, if I remain living in this area, it will be dangerous for me, or
no,
if I
you will be
need
fine.
to. in this difficult area where I am living right now?
You will be okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Understand that when there is a difficult economy, it threatens the people on top or in the middle than it does the people on the bottom. The people on the bottom are already used to struggling. So a difficult economy does not change that much. If you're in a very bad area, it doesn't matter. It's not going to get worse.
Yes, that is what I thought, because in the world we are always used to struggle since many years. We always find a way to
Yes,
bettering our lives. But
exactly.
but you said people were going like dangerous or maybe crazy, so I was afraid of maybe
Do
thief,
not
of
fear.
maybe, you know. Okay, thank you.
Our thanks to you as well.
Hello, there are 2 questions from YouTube.
Yes.
The first question is, what can the Pleiadian Council say about White Lake area in Michigan State in the US in regarding to energies?
Read the name one more time.
It is White Lake area in Michigan.
All right, one moment. Water is important in this area. Something about the water in the lake needing some purification, and the water systems in general needing some purification. There are certain energetic sites here that were sacred to the indigenous people and could be explored and reactivated. The general frequency is fair, but not highly accelerated.
Awesome. And now for the other one, with the this one from the previous one was from NetSun. This one from Latrin Lover. With the ongoing economic uncertainty we are experiencing now, is there anything we can do that will make transition smoother? For example, what kind of investments or buying now?
All right. The most important thing to invest in is your community, because your community is your truest expression of abundance. You all have this understanding of a past time in which you would go over to your neighbors for a cup of sugar. And truly, there are so many places in the world that are not as modern, where community is still the way that abundance expresses itself. You may not have the money every day, but somebody in your neighborhood can feed you. And working with this understanding that you are all interconnected is what is going to resolve the struggles and the inequalities that is created by a capitalistic and consumeristic world. The best thing that you can invest in is alternative ways of viewing abundance, because until you break out of the cycle that money is abundant, is the only form of abundance that will get you where you're going. And unless you have money, you should feel fear. You will be very stuck as a whole. So if you don't want to see the economy stop, then don't stop your own spending and your own investment in what excites you, because there seems to be this fear in the air. Recognize the idea of the economy is simply based on the spending that people put out. And they are just telling this story that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because when people hear there is a bad economy, then everybody is going to go into some strange hoarding mode. But you don't have to do that. If you trusted in true abundance, You would be fine. And remember, yes, abundance comes from feeling yourself as part of the whole, feeling yourself as part of the earth, feeling yourself as part of the collective of humanity, strengthening your bonds with others so that you can truly trust on a deep level that regardless of all else, you will have the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it.
Awesome. There's
And
no
with
further question on YouTube.
that said, we also say now is perhaps a good time to invest in cryptocurrencies if that is something you're really interested in. But don't go willy-nilly into this and don't feel as if you need to do it unless you're really passionate about it.
Yeah, can I ask something?
Are there any other people in the group that have not yet asked a question that would like to? And then we will get back to you, yes?
Yes, I would like to ask something.
All right, yes.
I would like to understand more the thinking process. And first question that comes to my mind is, what is the thought? What it really is?
What is a thought?
Yes.
It is energy and motion. It is the mind's concept of a theme and a potential action or a potential idea. It is electromagnetic in its nature, meaning that thoughts generate fields of energy that exist both within and outside of your body. And that's why other people can feel your thoughts. It creates an energetic ripple that moves out from your aura and can be attuned to by those who are sensitive to it.
And how it differs from emotions, because it's also
It
energy
doesn't
in
really
emotion.
differ from emotion. They are always interlinked. Thought and emotion cannot be separated. They simply manifest on different levels. So the emotion is what we refer to as what you actually feel inside of your body, whereas the thought is the concept and the story. But truly, they're one thing. The thought is the mental aspect of it, and the emotion is the emotional or feeling aspect of it. And then, of course, there's the sensational and physical aspect of it, meaning that everything you think and feel also translates as a sensation in your physical body.
Okay, and what is the thinking process?
What do you mean? What is the thinking process? You think thoughts and emotions arise. The emotions and sensations move through your body. If you interrupt that process at the level of sensation and simply feel, here is sensation, and breathe into the sensation and breathe and visualize light flooding into that area, you can often interrupt negative thought processes, if that's what you're asking about.
I'm just curious about how the thoughts get processed in our brains.
You think them and you feel them, and they move from one thought to another thought. Often you experience a series of thoughts because of a belief system. And a belief system is, again, thoughts that are ingrained. They're thoughts that have been thought so many times that you don't question them anymore, and they become instead filters through which you see reality. And these belief systems then constantly peak to the surface and generate thought after thought. So the iceberg analogy is helpful here. The thought is what you see at the top above the surface of the water. The belief is the iceberg. You have to melt the iceberg if you want to get rid of the thought that appears on the surface.
Mm-hmm. And I'm doing just the selection of the thoughts by focusing on something more.
Yes.
So that's the role of my consciousness, right?
Yes. Again, the process is noticing the negative thought, looking at what beliefs are at the core of those negative thoughts, then going to the literal opposite thought and belief. If the belief is, I am unworthy, you focus on the new belief, I am worthy, and then you look for evidence for that. As we in other channels you've listened to have said again and again.
Mm-hmm. And then the subconscious is just the thoughts that I'm not aware of that are running automatically, right?
Yes, the belief systems that
Yes.
keep the thoughts in place.
Okay, thank you very much. You made much more clear for me. Thank you.
Oh, we're happy to do that, and we thank you as well.
Hello?
Hello, welcome.
Hello. Hello, Council. Hello, Dante in there.
Hello.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, so like I've lately been kind of moved a lot by a lot of the stuff going on, especially where I am in the US. And I also kind of feel like I'm in a particular position to contribute in a positive and constructive way to various things in the world. And that's been cool. Although I also feel like I need to go through like a lot of internal processes to like really kind of streamline my being and my thought processes and all these things before I can actually be effective. And I'm feeling like really kind of pulled in kind of two directions in the sense of like the internal process, but then like outwards, it's been hard at least lately for me to like, to like not feel like I have to jump into something, especially because there's people I know who are involved in certain things and like I feel like I can contribute, but then as soon as I should focus on my internal processes. So if you have any words for me, I would really appreciate like how I can kind of stay focused on what's most productive for me while not feeling like I'm like energetically neglecting other situations.
Well, remember, it's a dance back and forth between internal and external processes, and actions are the biggest and most important thing. So you have to then question in your internal process, are the actions that you're considering truly representative of your highest excitement? Or are these actions you're considering things that you feel compelled to do because people around you are doing it, or because your belief systems give you a sense of social pressure that you must do these things? Because if it really came from your truest and highest passion, you wouldn't question it as much, and you wouldn't really need to analyze it as thoroughly, because there would be a deep knowing in your heart that it was right for you.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the biggest pull is when I see something that I know could be like I see something that I kind of feel like is being spoken that's not true. I kind of feel the need to like jump in there, but as soon as I do, it kind of like messes up my alignment, at least right now. So
does it really mess up your alignment, or do you experience a negative belief surfacing?
I guess negative belief surfacing, although sometimes start thinking in ways that can kind of confuse me, it seems.
Well, that's what happens when negative beliefs surface, is that your thinking goes all haywire, because your thinking has to move in that direction if you're actually going to clear the negative belief from your system. So again, that's why it's important to be able to go into your body and be able to feel and breathe into the sensations that are triggered when a negative belief is activated, and not react to them and not believe the thoughts. Feel those sensations while bringing yourself to focus on opposing thought patterns, positive thought patterns, and eventually the negative belief will dissolve to make space for a positive belief. Though, yes, whenever you are enacting your passion, you're going to encounter these negative beliefs, and it will seem as if they interrupt your flow. and take you out of alignment because you get emotionally charged in a negative way. But what you must understand is that those emotional charges were at that subconscious level beneath the surface, and you took the actions you took that brought them from the unconscious level to the conscious level. Now at the conscious level, you have to process them, you have to clear them, you have to feel them. And when they're showing up at the conscious level, it's actually a good sign. It's actually a sign that you have really come into alignment with your passion, and now you're seeing something that was distorting your passion and your expression the whole time, and you have the opportunity to clear it.
Cool. Yeah, I've experienced that. All right. Cool. Thanks for that.
Yes, and thanks to you.
There isn't anything like that wants to come through message-wise for me right now, is there? Or is it good, do you think?
We do not do energetic scans on these calls anymore. If you want that level of support, you have to do a private consultation with us.
Sure.
Yes. We thank everyone for understanding. We process your immediate questions, and if nothing jumps up, then that is what is supposed to happen.
I have a question, but if you don't
Please
feel
give everybody the opportunity to conclude their turn before jumping in.
okay.
Previous question, is there anything more that is coming to the surface for you?
No, that's pretty good for now.
All right, thanks to you. And now we can move on.
Okay, Angela, you didn't ask, so if you want to go. Okay. I something I don't understand about our past history, historic. Like some ETs said they came, some ETs said there are many other different ETs. Quickly, how it's happened? Did the Sumerian went first? What are the main who came in the chronological? How what the main races arrived in the in the order, the main order? Do you understand? Who came?
We cannot give an order, so to speak, exactly, because it would be far too detailed. Different groups came and went at various times. So in the times of your great ancient Egypt and other ancient civilizations, you were visited by Pleiadians, not necessarily ourselves, but our own ancestors, Syrians, Arcturians, and as well, there was influence from negative reptilians known as the Alpha Draconi.
Okay, so who did the Sumerian arrived also went?
There
Sumer
was not as much physical contact at the time as there was memory.
Okay. And who built the pyramids?
We cannot say.
Ah, okay. Did our history difficult to understand because it's a mix of different timelines?
Yes, there's a mixture of different timelines. There's a mixture of different memories and also stories that were told simply for the purpose of influencing and controlling civilizations at certain times. There was the intentional erasure of libraries, as that was the way that cultures dominated each other, was by erasing the history, the memories, and the knowledge of a different culture. And so your history is very highly distorted because there have been numerous wars that have erased so much knowledge that was very advanced. So it's not that the ancient ones were dumb in any way. In so many ways, ancient peoples were more sophisticated than modern peoples.
Okay, so that means the only way for us to truly know what happened and what is the order and who has effect
You
on this
cannot
or
fully know.
that, only if
You
we
cannot fully
become
know. We'll say it again.
okay. Even if we
So
become
stop trying to come to absolute truths and instead act on your passion. That's what we've been saying the whole time. You will
okay.
know what you need to know when you need to know it, when you act on your passion. So many of you get obsessed with what could have been and what has been, but you are forgetting that life is happening here and now. So yes, discover all that you can, but remember that it is your living memory right here and now of all of the ancient civilizations and galactic races that expresses through you as a multidimensional soul connected to so many other soul aspects, otherwise known as past lives, that you can get to know in a subjective way. You don't need the history books to recount to you the experience of the timelines that are really relevant for you. So if you want to know these things, then explore your soul history through inner processes and hypnotherapy and past life regression. And don't try to seek out this information through external sources and come to absolute truths, because again, you've said it yourself. There's so many different timelines and they blur together. And so you're going to hear many different stories, and all of them are partially true. But again, remember, what is most important is what is true for you as a soul right here and now.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, so thanks to you as well.
Hi, there is a question on the YouTube
Yes.
by Ryan Leland. Hello, can you speak on working through self-doubt and discern between mind and spirit when automatic writing is in order to, wait, what? Hello, can you speak on working through self-doubt and discernment between mind and spirit when automatic writing in order to strengthen one's channel? Thank you.
All right. So automatic writing is a form of channeling. And of course, in channeling, the mind is involved. You will find in the process of channeling that sometimes you, after the fact, recognize that there were belief systems that distorted the flow of the information coming through. Even what we deliver is limited by the channel's own belief systems. In other words, the channel has to truly integrate so much of this information in his own beliefs to be able to relay it to you. So when you go into automatic writing or channeling, it is important to sort through it after the fact. Does it feel resonant? Does it feel liberating? The higher truth that is connected to your higher self and to spiritual wisdom will always feel uplifting. It will always bring a sense of opening in your chest and a warmthness through your body that excites you and brings you to feel more free and less constricted. If there's a truth that comes through that makes you feel constricted and doubtful, then you are channeling through the distorted lens of a negative belief. And it's important to be able to recognize that so that you can clear up that negative belief. And again, try to tap into that higher self or that specific guide that you're channeling and bring it through a second time. This is how information refines itself again and again through the process of channeling. And you'll find that certain things we share now, we shared at the beginning of this channel's journey with us in ways that were slightly distorted. And over the years, it's come through in clearer and clearer ways. That is the nature of channeling.
Awesome. There are no more questions on Facebook,
And who has a
on
question?
YouTube. do. This is a bit of a tricky one. I've noticed, especially nowadays, a lot of momentum happening in the inner clearing, a lot of negative beliefs and beliefs unshedding. And it's been fascinating to notice that the inner voice, the interactions are happening so much faster.
Yes.
I wanted to understand from that standpoint and perspective a couple of things. One, you have said, and various others have said, that everything is a permission slip. And I've noticed it. Sometimes I would just visualize something and then get a specific emotion. It's as if it's a permission slip to feel a certain thing. And I was wondering if that process would be advisable to clear out negative beliefs, like going into a visualization to feel a specific outcome, a specific emotion in the now, but then spotting and filtering true negative beliefs.
Yes, exactly. This would be a very useful tool to work with. You can play with this scenario, with this sort of a permission slip, with, say, something that you would really like to manifest, or some opportunity that you have, but you're afraid that something could go wrong. So you play out several scenarios of it going wrong, and you also play out the scenario of it going right. And through that process, allow yourself to feel all that comes up. Recognize that in doing this process, when you get in touch with negative beliefs and emotions beneath the surface and them without resistance, you clear out some of those negative beliefs, and you also then clear out the fields of attraction within you that might manifest some of those circumstances. You prepare yourself so that you can go into the experience with truly no insistence on whatever happens. And when that insistence falls away, you're able to be more fully present and focused in the here and now and experience the situation for exactly what it is.
It's impressive because it also adds that whole energetic aspect to it. You know, it's with visualization and such.
Yes.
That's fantastic. So then, okay, maybe it's this question's a bit on the side, but that aspect of the inner voice, I'm noticing the connection deepening. And it's something that's kind of strange to me because I remember when I was a kid, it was much more active. There was much more back and forth to it. So I'm kind of wondering what would have led to this limitation of the inner voice per se.
Well, you learn that you have to follow certain rules, and you learn that there are right and wrong ways of thinking. Many of you will have imaginary friends when you're young who are really actually spirit guides. And this behavior is tolerable up until a point that the parents start to tell you, no, these beings are not there, and this sort of living in your imagination is not acceptable. In school, you start to learn that things must be rational and focused in very specific ways. And this tunes out your imagination and all of the inner voices. So it takes then the process of reparenting yourself to go against conditioning that has, for most of you, been in place since you were 5 or 6 years old, to help you remember what the inner child knew and the younger version of yourself knew, that these imaginary beings are real and that there are voices within you that can reveal to you higher truth.
That is so fucking fascinating. It really is. It's like, and it all feels more and more natural. Wow, great, thanks. I may have, no, I'm complete. Thank you.
All right, our thanks to you as well.
Hello, I would like to have another question.
All right. As long as, one moment, everyone who has not yet asked a question has had the chance. Is there any other questions in the space? Going once. Going twice. All right, then you can continue, our friend.
As most of the humans, I'm also addicted to sugar. And I would like to ask.
Watch that. You're making a comparison in that first statement. Comparing yourself to the rest of people and normalizing this behavior for them and for yourself. That
I would like to.
So, like some of you in your world, you have an addiction to sugar.
Okay, I would like to ask if birch sugar or xylitol is better than usual sugar.
White sugar is a toxin. It erodes your body. It causes immense inflammation. It spikes your blood sugar immensely, causing an up and down crash that hooks you into having more sugar. So yes, anything other than white sugar is much better. Even true cane sugar is 90% better than white sugar, which should be known to all of you as a toxin. Raw cane juice is healthy. Honey is healthy. Some things like agave and other popular alternative sweeteners still have a very high glycemic index, meaning they will do that same thing where they spike your sugar up and drop it very quickly. And it is still addictive, but again, there are less toxins and there are some micronutrients available in it.
Mm-hmm. So also processed xylitol is not good.
Xylitol, say that again.
Xylitol. Or
yes, this is less toxic than white sugar, but there are other toxins present within it.
Mm-hmm. Because it has a lower glycemic index.
Yes.
Okay, another personal question.
So let's talk about this sugar thing again, because if you are craving sugar, it means you are lacking sweetness in your life. So you need to bring a focus to those things that are sweet. Love, friendships, intimacy with other people. This is sweetness. And most people who have the sugar addiction are not as close with other people, even if they live with those people or in relationships, as they could be. And this lack of closeness and lack of intimacy brings them to crave the sweets that they are missing. So if you want to really face the sugar addiction, you have to become more intimate.
Yes, and I think I need to be more sweet to myself.
Yes.
Right?
You need to be sweet to yourself and love yourself enough that you give yourself the space to receive that intimacy from others.
Yes. Okay, and the last question I would like to ask, I'm for third year, I'm working on my clay pond, and it's still leaking somewhere. Can you help me how to seal it?
Use your intuition, yes, and look very thoroughly. Look with a magnifying glass, perhaps, at the whole thing to see where the cracks are coming out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thanks to you as well.
Well, could I ask another question?
Yes.
Thank you, Great Council. It's always so fascinating to visit with you guys. I'm a bit in the paradoxical aspect of, okay, so if we can, or as we can have those internal visualization exercise and practice them to a certain degree of repetition to feel them, I'm wondering if that can, will that attenuate, or how do I say, satisfy the physical body and mind that is not necessarily living the creation in the current space?
Not entirely. In extreme circumstances in which one cannot actually move oneself to put themselves in the right circumstances to experience a particular dream or desire, then the visualization will do as the best substitute available. Because when you are visualizing something, to some extent, your body feels as if it is already happening. What we encourage you to use the visualization for most of all is to explore the desire. There are some desires that will be fulfilled simply through visualizing them. You won't have to play them out in real life. There are some desires that it is better to not actually experience in real life, but in order to clear them and clear the beliefs that generate the desires, you have to visualize them and experience them in your imagination. But for most of these phenomena and desires, the act of visualizing them and visualizing their fulfillment sets you up and prepares you to enact them real time in your life. And by going through them and clearing your insistence and getting into the feeling sense of what it feels like in your body for this very thing to be happening, you are prepared and you can release any of your insistence and you can release any of your holding so that you can fully surrender to the experience in the time and space that it is aligned for you to do so.
That is quite awesome. At the same time, then, okay, would something that, I'm sorry, I'm seeing this, or I'm talking like a video game player, would the most effective strategy, in a sense, would it be to go through as many desires as we can within that internal space to clear out whatever could be blocking us? Okay, that is awesome.
Yes, it is important to be in touch as fully as you can be with all of your desires, because desire is, after all, the reason that existence is here in the first place. Remember, as has been shared in the book that will be released soon, Source desired to experience manifest reality and thus brought the multiverse into existence. And every being that comes into manifestation is Source desiring something specific for Source. Your desires are part of why you incarnate in the first place. And so to get in touch with your desires is to get in touch with your soul purpose.
Super cool. I guess the one last thing I would kind of ask on this, and it's something I haven't noticed because of personal history, it is that burning passion. I was wondering if an overextended use of devices, games, and even television has kind of muddled some of this aspect of passion and feeling connected to.
Because what all of this action through screens does for you is it floods your system with dopamine very fast. And most of you in your world are used to being inundated with so much dopamine very quickly every single day. And this inundation in your system conditions you so that you are not so willing and excited to take the action steps that would bring about true fulfillment and the natural dopamine release that comes with completing a task. So again, you can also refer to literal science for some of this information, as many of you who are tuned to this way of learning might not trust science as much. It is helpful and it does back this up very much. So understand again that through this constant saturation with stimulating information and energy in games and movies and so on and so forth. Even food that is readily available for you that you don't really have to wait for that long. And it's this meal that took so many hours to make right in front of you who didn't really do anything to make it. It, again, floods your system with dopamine, floods you with satisfaction, and you're not as excited to take the action steps to derive that satisfaction on your own. Dopamine comes when you complete a task and when you do something that feels like an accomplishment, a personal goal, creative work. This is when dopamine really comes into your system. And all of these things that overexcite you lower that natural motivation and make it seem almost mundane that you accomplish something, because your system gets that same rush of chemicals and compounds whenever you simply turn on the screen. So that's why it's important for all of you to make sure that you take some time off the screen every day and get used to putting effort into things and tune into your body, because when you accomplish a task, there's a deeper level beyond these different chemicals that move through your body at which you can feel true satisfaction. When you really accomplish something that you're passionate about, it connects you to your higher self. And of course, you can feel connected to your higher self when you are watching a program that really resonates with you. But for many of you, the watching and the consuming information doesn't come from a connected place of passion. It comes from a mindless place of filling the void. So it takes a lot of effort to switch gears from this mode of consumption to the mode of creativity. You will find that even though both consuming and creating produce dopamine in your body, that once you switch your gear mostly to that creative switch, you'll understand the deeper level of soul satisfaction that comes with creativity and does not come with consumption.
Wow, yeah, I totally feel on that too. It's as if, as you said, like this bombardment of just overstimulus, at times it kind of makes you, it also makes this aspect of having less gratitude for the small things.
Yes.
And I'm noticing like there's a momentum with that too. It's fascinating. It's like a massive detox time. Thank you.
Yes. And some of people in your world have come up with this idea of a dopamine detox. This permission slip will be useful for many of you who struggle with this dissatisfaction and the chronic overstimulation.
Great, thanks, Council. Great, thanks.
Oh, thanks to you as well.
So how may the dopamine detox look like?
It means completely turning off the screens, cooking your own meals, and not engaging in sexual activity for a day. As well as not consuming any sugar for that day. There are more elaborate and strict rules. Look it up. If it excites you and feels like something that will test you to find more of your own resilience and creativity, we would suggest that you do it.
And it's one day enough?
Yes. One day will be enough to shift your experience drastically.
Okay.
It will give you a great contrast that will help you become more self-aware of what you do every day.
Okay, good. Thank you.
No, thanks to you.
Can I ask something?
All right, yes. One more question.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. I felt when I am doing my stuff, I don't think about someone, but there is some energy of someone come right at me, and I want to disconnect, and I don't know how to get rid of, because I am not thinking, and this energy come at me, and how do I get rid of this if this energy is not come from me and come at me when I am not thinking about it?
Well, this energy actually is you.
You
It's
mean in
not
the
someone else's
larger?
energy.
You mean in the brighter
No, we
sense?
mean that it is literally your own energy that is attacking you. It is your own belief that something else could threaten or harm you that derails you and creates that experience for you. So you have to get in touch with your own beliefs that generate the sense of unsafety and look around you to remind yourself that you are clear and safe. And again, if you're alone and you demand that all energies of a lower nature exit your space and you reconnect with your passion and your higher self, those beings have to leave. So
Okay.
we're first of all saying that there is no interference on behalf
Yes.
of a lower astral entity, and it is your own
Yes.
energy. But if that lower astral energy was there and you demanded that it leave, it would have to leave.
Okay. It's as if I am attacking my own self.
You are attacking your own self through your own beliefs in the threat and danger around you. So if you again generated new beliefs and cleared those beliefs from your system, you would feel more safe and you would no longer create the threat
Yes.
in the spirit world.
It's so difficult sometimes to understand our own feelings. Sometimes it's look like us, sometimes it look like something else. Sometimes we think about someone, we project something, but it's not the truth. It's very difficult to identify this stuff in this reality. But
We
thank you for
understand
that,
that it
advice.
is difficult, but it is totally possible. And it does get easier every step of the journey. So stay excited, stay open, and stay optimistic that even if you don't master everything today, you still have a lot of time to do so.
Thank you very much for your help. I am very grateful for all your help. Thank you.
Our gratitude to you as well.
Well, we have one more question from the YouTube by
All right.
Adam. Well, basically, they wanted to say hi, and is there any message for them? Thank you.
We say to you our thanks. We extend our love to you and our gratitude for your participation in the session. And we, again, reinforce to the entire audience that we do not do dry reads in these sessions anymore, because if we open the space for that, we would get everybody asking, please tell me about my energy. And that is not what we're interested in doing here. And if you have a direct question for us about your own life or about anything, we will be happy to answer it. But we will not do these energetic scans questions. It is not that we are not capable of it. We are. But we will only do that in private one-to-one settings from this point forward. And we hope that we're making that very clear during this transmission today.
That is all for the YouTube questions.
All right. And then that will be all for this transmission today. We thank each and every one of you for co-creating this interaction and being a part of our world. It is a gift to us that you offer by showing up and by co-creating together. And it is a gift that you offer to your entire planet by taking this energy with you and integrating these messages within your lives. This is how we create a new world, a higher frequency world. And for this, we thank you. And we want you to know that there are so many other beings who thank you and have that great unconditional love for you as well. Each and every one of you can reach up to us and interact with us in your own ways if you would like. So remember that all of you are channels in your own way. And as you allow your passion to guide you and you stay open to all of the messages your imagination has to share, you will find your own extraordinary powers. And as each of you do that, your world will become much more extraordinary every day. We love you and we wish you a pleasant rest of your day then. All right.
Whoa! Hey, thank you. It was awesome transmission.
Yeah, great.
Super awesome, man. Thank you.
You're welcome,
Dante,
everybody.
have you? Hello, Dante. Have you seen one day how they look like?
Yeah.
So they look like us?
Well, the Pleiadians, as I see them, they're much taller. Their heads are kind of a little bit like longer. They tend to have very long hair and wear robes. But they can have many different skin tones and everything. They have like kind of brighter eyes. So, I mean, they're very human. They're just taller, I would say.
Okay, have you seen a fat Pleiadian?
No.
Only fit people.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
They don't eat
fit, I mean,
McDonald's.
they're not overweight. They don't have health. I mean, consider these extraterrestrials are enlightened, and health issues come from our ignorance and from our fear. So because these beings are at a level where they're beyond that, they don't have any health issues of that nature.
Okay, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So there is probably blue Pleiadians, many color,
Yes,
many
I've seen.
species of
I mean,
Pleiadians.
generally they look a little bit like whitish, bluish pale, but I've seen them darker. Even the darker ones have kind of a bluish glow to them in general.
Okay, so it's a species, but in this species there is many different race.
I mean, there's different races within the species, just as in our own.
Ah, okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, and yeah, just a reminder to anyone who's still hanging in there, donations really support the sessions, and I'm really grateful for them. So thanks so much for offering that if you do, and thanks for tuning in. And I'll probably see you next week, and I might do a special edition tomorrow to reach folks in Australia. I'm not necessarily sure if that's still going to flow for me, but I will send out a message if it does happen. Oh, and also, if you go to dantestarshine.com, you can sign up for the email list, and that will bring all of the updates directly to your email. Whenever I'm doing a stream or a special event or anything of that nature, you can find out about it there. Anyone else have something they want to share?
It's been one heck of a momentum, man.
Okay.
It's just continuous bombardment with the knowledge kind of kicking in. And, you know, the more it comes in, the more it's like, all right, well, you're going to have to take care of your chakras. And it's like,
Right?
oh. Oh. It's so true. It's like, it's just taking that time. And wow, again, mega loads of thanks to you. There's a lot of knowledge that wouldn't be like understood and appreciated if it wasn't for you and everything that you're doing, you know? So it's like,
Thank
wow.
you. Yeah. Well, thank you for showing up, because if you didn't show up and take the time, none of it would be possible either. And I just see how these things happen, and as more people wake up, it just creates this energetic ripple for the collective. So I'm really grateful to support our whole transformation, because this world needs it.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult to mutate to from the mind and action life to the organic heart life, where only the heart dictate how the reality move, and the action you have to drive you, the energy drives you. So it's very difficult, and I see people are trying to awaken, but the first stages are the more difficult. I am very conflicted from my heart and my mind. But whatever, I see also many French people awakening, so they are going in many different ways. You see people thinking stuff you didn't thought possible, and you have to accept their own understanding of energy. You know, the start when you start new thing, many new information comes and mingle, and sometimes you don't understand, because I don't know if you understand what I mean, because people are awakening. There are many new kind of truth. Sometimes it's not true, sometimes it's distorted, you know.
Yeah, sometimes it's distorted, and oftentimes we don't really know what's true and what isn't true, and we don't know what's distorted and what isn't distorted until we go out and we experience it. So, you know, I've been in this spiritual community for like 10 or 12 years. And I think people get a sense like, oh, well, the world out there is so harsh and spiritual people will do it better. But what happens when we come together with the people with the same higher knowledge is that we still experience there's so many old outdated patterns that we have to process through and sort through. And it's, I think for me and for a lot of people, when we let go of this insistence that this should be easy, it actually gets easier. So it's not easy, really. At a fundamental level, it's not easy, but it is exciting, and excitement is rewarding. So instead of thinking about easy, what about exciting? What about rewarding? What about satisfying? Because by focusing on those aspects of whatever it is we're doing, it does get easier. Nothing is essentially easy. And yes, our highest excitement is the path of least resistance. But it still isn't easy, and it doesn't need to be easy. And if you stop needing it to be easy, you'll have an easier time. It's a beautiful paradox.
Yes, it's not easy at all, because it's all energy, it's not material. So how you can set this is true and it's only true, and you cannot say this is true because it's only energy. So in function of your DNA, of your ET-DNA, of your belief system, everything is true. This morning I was debating with some lady. They said she want to give her ovaries, her uterus, to the abducted ET race. I say, I don't know, you do what you wish, but I have heard ET greys are bad as they're trying to abduct human race. So there is no truth, you understand?
Well, I mean, that's one thing that a lot of different people are going to say different things about, but what comes through in my channelings about this is that the grays are not bad, and the hybridization program is good. So I don't want to get too far into this because I don't have the time right now, but
Yes, yes.
we know that the Greys aren't really trying to hurt us, even though they made mistakes because they did not understand. Essentially, those Greys are humans from another timeline of Earth that went down a path of mutating with their technology and being very dominated by only the intellect. And this led them to lose their ability to biologically reproduce, and they needed human DNA to perpetuate their own existence. But because they didn't understand emotions, they didn't understand that they were causing harm to people in the process of their initial abductions. And those kinds of abductions generally don't happen as much anymore. There is some negative ET activity, as there's good and bad of everything. But for the most part, ET activity is positive. And here's the thing: is there is not really absolute truth, but there are absolutely truths that feel better than other truths, and that's all we need to focus on. Is, well, what is ultimately true? Who knows? But what feels better and brings better results into my life is this, and I'm going to go with that. And that's all we need to know. And it doesn't need to be true for other people. There's no convincing of this, right? We can't convince other people to wake up. We can only live our own experience of remembering the divine. So when we let go of that push to bring other people into our own inner know, to know what we know, to believe what we believe, we let go of this whole old paradigm way of, right, the Christians being missionaries and crusading, and the Islam jihad, and all of these ways that we enforce our beliefs onto others. And instead, we become embodiments of our beliefs, and we embody the positivity and the love that our beliefs offer to us. And that is enough to convert people. We don't have to try and force this. That's the old way. So none of what other people are doing matters at all when you get this. And yes, you know, you don't want to be around the old energies. That's part of my whole choice to live in Mexico. And not being in that environment feels intense for me. Back in the United States right now, it is intense and it is not fun. And I'm not planning on sticking around. And I actually am realizing, oh, you know, yeah, like I come here to visit my family, but you know what? Like, what are my priorities in life? They're not actually worth me suffering and lowering my vibration to come all this way out of what has come to nurture me. So gradually we can make the choices away from what we feel obliged to do and what we were conditioned to do, to live more in the environments and in the circumstances that really uplift our souls. And it's a trial and error, step-by-step process, but we do get there, and it gets to be a lot more beautiful. So I hope that I can be an example of that. I'm not trying to force anyone to do or believe anything, but I hope to be an example of that highest passion and the love that's possible.
I was going to ask if you were at home and how you were hanging in.
Horrible.
Are you coming to Oregon at all before you leave the States?
I don't think so. That would be nice.
There's a fairy festival happening soon.
Oh yeah, the Human Fairy Relation Congress?
Yeah, I think I'm going this year.
Oh, lovely. I mean, I would like to be there too. I would like to be everywhere at once. And I was thinking for a little while that I would make it over there before going to Iceland, but I didn't have enough time or money or anything to make it happen this time. But it's in my radar, and maybe I'll come back to I'd like to come back to that side. I definitely would. It's just a matter of when.
And when will you be back in Mexico?
September, August, October. That wasn't linear at all. Somewhere between August and
As it
October.
nice.
Yeah, it just depends on what happens. I'm kind of going with the wind right now. It's a going with the wind period.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And by curiosity, oh, sorry, Angela, go ahead.
Oh no, just good to see you.
Good to see you too, Angela.
Yes, Dante, it's always good to see you. So, by curiosity, how it is okay with your family, so now they accept you, you can handle more years, a lower vibration. How do you, is it better for you than before?
They accept me. They don't understand me. They have accepted me. They had some resistance at times trying to change me in the past, but I just made it really clear to them, like, this is who I am. This is what I do. Is it easy? No. Do I love them? Yes. And I focus on the love and I feel uplifted by love when I'm hanging out with them. I'm happy to see them. But it's just this environment. It's like humans have needs for connection with similar humans. And in Mexico, it's like I have friends, or even if I don't have friends, I can go to places on any given day where I'll just start up a conversation with strangers and maybe make a new friend. Even in like North Carolina, where I was living before, kind of the same thing can happen. Is like I can go out to places and there's like, oh cool, like-minded people who actually have social lives. But here's a really dead and gross kind of a place. I'm sorry to say. It's just very much the American mainstream and the kind of like sad and rusted version of that. So I'm not into it and it brings me down. But for the most part, like I spend, a lot of my day just by myself. And I'm able to work on things. I'm able to write. I do a long spiritual practice of breath work, meditation, and yoga. And I do what I need to do for me. And that is enough to bring an inner sense of grounding, even when I'm in these bad places. But it's still a bad place. It's still a place that has me feeling like my needs aren't met. My creativity doesn't flow to the same degree. So I've kind of come to the conclusions that I'm not going to stay here like long term ever again. Like, I mean, 1 month is still short term in the grand scheme of things, but it's a long time. And every year, every other year, I would come here and spend 1 month, visit my family, make connections with old friends. And this time I came on a pretty high level. I was feeling great. And I just crashed, like, I didn't crash and burn, but instantly felt, oof, my vibration is not resonating with this. And I can't do it again. I can't spend more than a week or two here ever again. And I'm telling that to my family and to the people I know. It's like I literally just can't do this. It's not that I don't love you. I'm not responsible for you, and I need to do what I need to do. So that's what this trip is about for me.
Yes, you can only do what is your limit, but even the human are not receptive. You have I don't know if your third eyes can see stuff, but I am sure you have the tree
for sure.
talking to you, the fairies may be near to you, and they will have always a good joke and a good conversation with you. If you cannot reach the human, you have a friends somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's the same for with my family. I cannot have conversation with them, but I crave to see and to mingle with them. But even if I push myself to do that, the conversation it's blend, and we have to come back to talk about economic, about negative stuff, to have some kind of exchange. Yes, I know.
Well, that's the thing, is that people just want to talk about those things because it's all they know how to do. So sometimes we have to meet people where they're at and accept that that's all that they know how to talk about, and push the conversation in a little bit in the direction we prefer. But it's really about connecting with people who can meet you where you're at. And there's some blood family arrangements that keep us coming back into spaces that aren't so relevant for us.
Yes.
But beyond that, it's about choosing the right people to connect with. So, you know, if somebody beyond your immediate family is trying to have these conversations with you, girl, bye.
I understand.
Because what's the point?
Yes, I feel a little bit sad to say no each time, but I understand we have to respect ourselves and our own energy level first.
Yep.
It is a challenge, huh? But it gets easier and easier every time.
Yep.
And sometimes
You
it
don't
can be
have-
super funny.
You don't have a dog or some pet in this house?
Nope. My dad has a dog. He takes it with him.
Ah, okay. So
All right.
even the dog is not your friend.
The dog's a dog. Of course it's my friend. I mean, my dad knows no boundaries, so he didn't train the dog very well. And the dog is annoying for that reason, but it's still a dog. It's still sweet.
Yes. Yes.
So, all right, guys, I need to sign off. And thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you next week. Thanks so much for tuning into these transmissions.
Hey,
Hope
thank
you enjoy
you.
the little conversations at the end as well. And stay tuned for the channeled book. I know I keep saying that, but it's actually going to get released soon. I swear it's done. We're going to see how the cover art is coming along. Okay. Love you all. Goodbye.
Have a good one,
Now.
man.
Have a
Thanks.